Hey, today I want to tie a hare's ear nymph with you. Probably one of the best searching patterns out there. Got a size 16 nymph hook, a vise, and some 8/0 black uni. I'll tie in right behind the eye of the hook. That waist, don't need that. And I'll run my thread back a little bit farther, about halfway down the shank of the hook. Come over to my hare's mask, and I'm looking for some nice fibers for a tail. A lot of the commercially tied tails are way too thick, so I like to tie mine a bit more sparse. So get some fibers that look pretty good. Get that fluff out of there. I know these are roughly the length I want, so I'm going to put a wrap or two down and take a look. Yeah, that'll be good. And we'll tie these down. We'll stop about the bend of the hook. And even that is fairly bushy tail, but I can live with it. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It's thinner than what you'll typically see, and I suggest tying it less bulky than what you can buy. The other little difference I have in this pattern is I like to use wire for all my ribs, so I'm going to use a brassy sized gold wire here and just put a wrap or two over that, like so. And I'll actually bring my thread forward a little bit, a few times. And I'm just picking some under fur and some guard hairs from my hare's mask. And I'm going to dub a really thin, tight noodle. That's actually heavier than I want. And we have the cat trying to make an appearance here. He's going to get in the way of our light. So could be an interesting tie here. Yep, he's in the way. Alright, now dodge that bullet for the moment. Love the cat, but he's not the best video assistant. So I'm just going to wrap a little bit of an abdomen here, not too thick. As you can see, I didn't get too fussy about how that happened. Gonna keep my noodle fairly thin. There's a slight taper on this abdomen. Get a little bit thicker as we come forward. And I'll stop right there, which is about 3/4 of the way up the shank of the hook, and then I'm gonna hang on to my tail here, make sure that doesn't get cocked down, and then we'll just wrap this wire forward in nice even wraps. And this will give us a nice rib. I like the wire because it really bites into the dubbing versus tinsel, which doesn't. No matter how hard you pull tinsel, what's going to happen as you use the fly and it gets wet and then it dries is it doesn't bite into that dubbing. It just gets loose. And then you don't have a rib anymore, you just kind of have a mess. And this ribbing will just really continue to stay in place because it bites into that dubbing. So I've got a pheasant tail. I'm going to take about 10 or so dozen fibers and pull those 90 degrees to the shank of the feather. Zip those off. That helps even up the tips. Now you will always pretty much end up with these curly butt ends. My suggestion is trim those out. They just have a way of really kind of like the cat making a nuisance of themselves. So I like to trim those out. And then pinch these, give them a little pinch, and wrap over them, pull them, and just taking a look to decide how long I want those fibers. They'll be our legs. And then that looks pretty good, so I'm going to wrap that forward. And then wrap back where we stopped our abdomen. Good thread tension the whole time. Come back to our hare's mask. And again, I'm grabbing some underfur and some guard hairs. And the guard hairs will give us a nice spiky effect, and the underfur is just going to basically help us dub. If you try to just use the guard hairs, it's going to be pretty tough. They tend to just roll off the thread. So the underfur actually kind of acts almost like a glue. And you can see how spiky I'm leaving this. Not dubbing a really tight noodle. This will give us a nice spiky thorax. I'm going to lift everything back. I'm going to come in front of these legs, and that will help lift them 90 degrees. And then I'm just going to split them roughly 50-50. You don't want to end up with 2 legs on one side and 10 on the other. Once I'm happy with that, I'll just bring this wing case right through the middle. I want to make sure those fibers stay nice and flat, that they don't twist over one another. So I'm happy with that. Just bring my thread over the top. I'm going to wrap down over these fibers nice and tight. Pull them back like so. I'll put some thread wraps in front. It should be good and locked in now. Now this is a small, relatively small fly. So rather than deal with the butt ends, I'll take an extra minute or two and just come in gently. If you pull them real hard, they can you'll see the wing case fibers flip up, which means you pulled too hard and slipped under the thread. So you want to do it fairly gently, and I like to do it just one at a time. You can get greedy and try 2, but again, that's a good way to have it break at the wing case, and then you got a wing case that has some issues. So just take my time, pull those off gently, pull everything back. You can see that leaves a really nice clean small head. You don't have to deal with any butt ends. Whip finish, and you're good to go. You get another one for your box. I hope you enjoyed this. It's a great pattern, as you probably already know. No secrets there. Got a couple fibers there I don't like. Trim those out. Just being super fussy here. Those are just guard hairs. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. I'm going to put some head cement on this thread, and then we'll call this done. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. Appreciate you watching. I'll be posting some other videos. Just went over that thread. I'm going to clean the eye. But that's a Hare's Ear Nymph. Hard to find a better searching pattern than this guy. Thanks again, and I'll catch you in some other videos. Bye.